Good morning. Welcome to SEC Basketball Reaction here at Southeastern 16. If you slept through it, the SEC has a national title. Congratulations to the Florida Gators. We got news breaking literally as we're sitting backstage away from your view talking about it. That involves Kentucky, which might be why a few Wildcats fans are here. We may unpack that for a brief second. This is the speed round, though, ladies and gentlemen. We got about 30 minutes to do this because one of us has a media obligation in about 30 minutes. So we're going to try to get this all in under the wire. We'll wrap up the season, take your questions, take your reactions, hit your topics. Max Barr, I will kick it to you first to start us off. What's on your mind this morning?
What's on my mind is what's on Wesley's mind. It's the best way to start the day. Nice. Did you? Yeah, I think he's feeling your poetic.
Oh, no. We don't bring that up. Okay, that didn't actually happen.
Yep. It's good to see Skylar in the chat. Skylar slipped up last night. Said, "See you next year."
Whoop. Skylar, come on.
Good morning to the regulars. Yeah, big time. I mean, hey, where would you rather be than in the SEC when you're coming off of a national title and then we've got transfer news flying left and right? I don't even know who's committing where. There's no stopping around these parts, Blake. No stopping.
Clearly, don't tell Salty Tiger that. We took a 20-minute break here to start to end the season.
Multiple people noticed that.
And Salty Tiger, the season just ended. You're already slacking on the 9 a.m. start time. Forgive us for that 20 minutes that we took there because we were trying to put together. Well, how many transfer videos we have to do today? Well, now we got multiple we got to do. So yes, Kentucky fans, we already had in the works. Coming out around noon today, Mo D to Kentucky. Now we got to figure out when we're going to do Jaden Quaintance coming into Kentucky. We still got to get to Jalen Carey swapping from Vanderbilt to Tennessee. We got 2 Alabama players we got to get to this week. We got all kinds of stuff we got to get to. So, yeah, like it's just that's the way it works. The season has ended on the court, but off the court it has just begun, and we will obviously have that covered. But yeah, Chris was not. He may have been writing another poem. I don't know in that 20 minutes. But no, we were just again trying to look ahead. What are we going to keep doing for you guys? But I still thinking about that game last night and the Gators win a national championship. And I always ask after that, how does this team? How do you put this within the context of all-time greats and all this other stuff? And I was like, you really could make the argument that Florida won the national championship in the best group of Final Four teams we've ever had. Statistically, that is. They won the SEC tournament in the best SEC we've ever had. And I'm like, how do they not rank right up there in terms of the championship level of all-time teams when you really look back at it and you think statistically all the things that they accomplished this season? And yeah, I mean it's just it's tremendous. And I mean I think back to just the way they won some of these games where we don't even, in the context of we've talked about the comebacks and all that, but we don't really ever even mention the Maryland one that much. But think about that first half against Maryland. I mean, as confident as I was, and I feel like Max and I were both just all in on this Florida-Maryland matchup. But, you see them come out in this first half, there's turnovers, and I'm like, oh, my God, are you serious? Is this the way it's going to go? But every single time, these guys just answered the bell, and it was fitting that they needed another one of those to win the whole thing because it's just kind of proven to be their thing down the stretch here this season. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, it's one day later, but man, this team is they should be looked back on as one of the the all-timers in terms of just putting it within the context of who they did it against, beating the number 1 overall seed and then beating another 1 seed to win this thing, but also just doing it within the context of what the SEC was this year. And I just think it's pretty remarkable.
I got two things just real quick. Comment on that, Blake. One was this team may be a team in 5-ish years where we look back and we're like, they had that many NBA players. They had that many guys between Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard. They could play a role. That Tommy H. and Condon, and even next year with the role that Denzel Aberdeen's going to have as a senior, we're going to be talking. That guy was coming in spot minutes off the bench. Aberdeen in a support role, so 100%. And I also think this may be now kind of how you saw the Celtics in the NBA with their just to the extreme, their rim and three rate. I know you watch the NBA, I don't, but it's ruined it pretty much from a viewer standpoint. In college, the two big 3-guard lineup, the analytical approach, the offensive rebounding at the rim, 2s, and then 3s. That's what we do to win. We follow the analytics. This may be the gold standard now when you're roster building. 2 bigs, 3 guards, experience. Could be the standard from now on.
By the way, too, I'm not saying this is the greatest team of all time. I just want to make that very clear. But I think if you're talking about achievement, right? Like the context of who they did it against and how they did it. I think this is from an achievement standpoint, okay, to take whatever you want in terms of winning the whole thing and all this, but I think it, like you said, maybe we do look back and are like, hey, like that, how many more Final Fours are we going to get like this? How many more SECs are we going to get like this? Like I said, I just think putting it in the context of the achievements, they should be looked at as a team that, hey, there's not a lot of teams in history that have done what that team just did. And, I just think that's something that's, and I know Philip brings up here too. Philip, always one of the greats, always making you think. And I like that. Shouldn't one of the greatest teams in history win their conference championship, not just the sample one? Well, yes, it's a good point. I mean, they were also 14-4 and finished one game behind the team that they beat in Auburn, who finished 15-3. And so, it's not a drastic difference there. But I do think, like I said, from an achievement standpoint, how many future champions maybe are going to have on their resume the fact that they played in the strongest single season conference that we've ever seen, like we said statistically for the SEC, and then the path they took to win the national championship. Remember too, think about Florida's path, right? They beat the defending back-to-back national champion, and I know it's okay, they were an 8 seed or whatever, that's fine, but then they played, in the Sweet 16. Maryland, who ranked 10th in KenPom, Texas Tech 9th, Auburn 4th, Houston 2nd. So it's just think about that road. So that's all. I just wanted to point that out. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, rank them above whatever team you want to rank 1, 2, 3, whatever. Just within the context of the achievement, I think is pretty important, though.
I've got a document here. I think will give me the answer if I can find it. But remember that old stat about if you're going to win a national champion, you've always got to have a McDonald's All-American that you heard it every year before we hit the transfer portal and the craziness. Who was Florida's highest rated recruit out of high school? And I'm asking because I don't have the answer in front of me. Because I don't think this was
high school recruiting. What is that?
I know. Well, I mean,
What?
Right. And that
not high
school recruiting.
But you get what I'm getting at. Just what they did in the roster construction and the talent evaluation, and getting the pieces to fit together. This wasn't one of, and I don't mean to say this to throw shade, this wasn't one of John Calipari's teams where you just, got 8 McDonald's All-Americans and
right,
put it together and made it work. This was a very different, but very diligently and differently done blueprint. And I think that's one thing that makes their season successful or special.
Yeah, T-Wit saying Chinyalu was a low-graded 4-star. I was going to say 3-star would be the highest, but I think, that is right, because I know a good amount of them were 3 stars. But that was a lot of SEC teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
There were multiple teams that didn't have the McDonald's All-American, the flashy, high school accolades.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's this thing now where you got guys that play so long. Like at 18, these guys weren't anything close to the freshmen in this league. But you just let them play 5 and 6 years of basketball and keep at it. And it's very interesting because we've never lived through a time in college sports where you see careers play out to the length that they are. I mean, just 5, 6 years ago, it was all your best players were guys that were there one and done like Cooper Flagg. Now it's guys who were afterthoughts for a couple years, but they kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And by year 5 and 6, they're all conference, all American, whatever. It's just a weird time, and I'm very curious if we're living in just a snapshot that's going to change. 5 years from now, we're going to be back to more what it was, or does it stay this way forever?
It's a good point.
It's a good point. Okay,
you want
let's
to jump
get
around the league a little bit.
We're gonna get to some couple chats, and then we're gonna do a season retrospective here again because we're kind of a little pressed for time this morning, but we'll make it work. All right, $5 super chat from Carter. Happy transfer season. Yes,
Yes.
Appreciate all the work we do here. Yeah, we got a Missouri transfer to talk about too. We need to do a video on Sebastian Mack at some point. I feel like
Mac attack.
Is there somebody else I'm forgetting with Missouri?
Porter could do a little duo.
We could go do that together. By the way, again, as we said, we're not going to probably do a video for every single transfer, but we will combine some of them when we talk about some of those. But all right, let's see what else we've got here from Sam H. here, $5 super chat. Is basketball the hardest sport to win a national championship in college sports?
They're all hard in different ways. Like football and basketball, and like in football,
Coming right back, by the way.
how do I say this? The best team that's demonstrably better is going to win most of the time. Like maybe 9 times out of 10. Now, if you have a day where your quarterback throws 5 picks, then it looks different. But like usually you can just line up physically and whip somebody. So it's how tough is it to build that kind of team? In basketball, it's like you can dominate and then you go 2 for 25 on your threes, and you're looking up at somebody going, how in the world did we lose that game? I didn't see that coming. Baseball, like you have to win a lot of games. In the regionals, the supers, you can get some losses. You can have a bad day. So they're all different. I think, gosh, I don't know what my answer would be. Do you?
I think the winning 6 games in a row on a neutral court just to win the title is really tough. But I'm also a big fan of wrestling and going individual through an entire bracket and winning that NCAA tournament. If you saw Gable Stevenson get upset, that was insane. Anything that has that long 64 bracket or 32 bracket, anything that you have to win like 5-4 games, 6 games in a row, I feel like just naturally it's going to be tough.
I feel like basketball's the answer.
All right. You guys weigh in the chat. I know some people are saying baseball. It's one of those two, you would think. But I think, yeah, the single elimination, I think Big Gator EJ, the portal aspect, too. It's like, man, it changes every year now to where it's like, and that's why I know someone brought up in the chat. Let's see if we find it here about Houston. Where is it? I just saw it. About sort of, here you go. The soccer. Happy for Florida and the SEC, but got to feel for Kelvin and the Cougs. Brutal way to lose that game with the older guys. And that's the thing is you don't see just, and I know some of those guys, haven't been there forever, but I think you just sort of think about when you do have just the combinations and putting them together for that one possible run. And yeah, like it's tough. So
Kelvin
right.
Sampson is as tough miner to coach as there is out there, and it reflects on how his team played. But the look on his face as soon as the buzzer sounded just told you everything you needed to know.
Did you see the clip of Clayton right after the game going to Sharp when Sharp was devastated? I thought that showed I already loved Walter Clayton. And I'm going to, again, tell you Gators fans, go to the NIL store and get your merch. I already did. We need to keep Tommy H on the team. Do your part. I did my part. Did you?
Yeah. Max and I have already started seeing if we can sponsor Tommy H for next season.
Get him
We're
back.
looking into that. But, which I know RJ brought up. What are the chances Sir Thomas Houck returns for another season? Well, they get higher as Max and I contribute more money. So we're doing our best. But
we need him back.
Shout out to Ryan. Thanks for a fun season of watching. Gator boys stay hot there. All right.
Oh, look who's in the chat.
Who's here?
EJ.
Well, EJ's been. Who else is?
EJ's been in the chat, but it's the 3-point sniper. If you guys are curious about what Florida's preseason national title odds were that we were talking about last year, 60-1. Guess who had 60-1? The 3-point sniper. Yep. Best handicapper on Twitter. He's absolutely phenomenal. Hopping in the chat. Love to see it. Well,
3-point sniper. Go ahead and tell us who's going to win it all next year. Who have you already put?
Yeah.
We read the numbers last night. Now, let's see if they changed any. We read the way too early 2026 numbers last night. Let's see. Well, I guess I can't find them anymore, but they're here somewhere.
Can you imagine watching that game last night with a 60-1 in your back pocket?
No.
Don't get into that.
If you did miss it, I'll quickly read off the order. I won't give you the exact odds, but I'll give you the order that they're in right now in DraftKings. Duke, the favorites, Houston at 2, UConn at 3, BYU at 4, Purdue and St. John's, both with the same odds, Kentucky, Kansas, Arkansas with the same odds, Louisville and Texas Tech with the same odds, Michigan and Florida, Auburn, Alabama, they all have the same odds. Then you get to Baylor, Arizona, Michigan State, Tennessee, and so forth. So it's the current betting odds to win the 2026 national championships. So
never too early.
Never too early. I've already grabbed a couple of those. I'm not going to tell you who, though.
Has Lenardi released his bracket? Do we get a gut bracket
opportunity? Oh, wait a second. Now, surely.
Technical.
This has already been released, right? I mean, there's got to be today. There's got to be a 2026 bracketology out there somewhere. And if there is, gut bracket. Full-on gut bracket for the 2026 national championship.
That's a flagrant.
We're ready. So,
well, guys, I think we can settle this. Ask ChatGPT who the favorites.
Okay.
You might want to hear this.
Well, this is actually a good idea.
Let's see where it goes, and then I got another question.
I like this, Chris.
Let's see where it goes first.
All right. Duke Blue Devils. Despite the anticipated departure of star freshman Cooper Flagg, Duke enters as the early favorite to win the 2026 national championship. There's more, but I'll leave it. Houston Cougars. And then number 3 is, take a guess.
Florida?
Florida.
Well, of course, ChatGPT. They just won the national championship. I could have told you that.
Well, maybe this isn't as worthless as you think. Other teams in the mix include UConn, BYU, Purdue, Arkansas, and Kansas.
Okay, so they're just running the odds. Okay, ChatGPT, we see what you're up to. They've listened. No, here's what happened. ChatGPT last night listened to our show and said, I just heard these guys read off the odds for the national champions 2026 and decided I'm going to use it as my own little, come on, ChatGPT. We know what game you're playing here. So
check
we know
the private comments, by the way.
Oh, don't worry, Chris. You're going to read this at the end. Everyone, just so you're aware, Chris has another poem that he's going to read here.
I didn't say I was going to read it. I was just for your information.
No, I think you should read it. No, I don't think you should, actually. We've already lost thousands of subscribers since last night. By the way, Tyler asks, did you see the returning production charts Matt Harris posted this morning? Yeah, Matt put that out there. And again, you have to kind of assume a couple things, but I think that as you're saying here, Tyler, and we've kind of noted this a little bit, but this is where we'll start to spend a little bit more time on it. There's some SEC teams out here. If we're going to get back to 14 next year, a little work to do. Got a little work to do with the roster, but plenty of time, but got some work to do with the rosters. So
Blake put it nicer than I would have.
Max really wanted to say some of these teams right now stink, and they got to get some people on the roster. All right? No.
What are we doing, fellas?
We need to get unfiltered Blake on sometimes.
Oh goodness.
Well, I mean, it's just, but like we say that, and we know how this works. Like, there are some rosters right now where you're just looking up and saying, hey, they got a lot of work to do. But it is still so early in the process. And there's still, I mean, think about it. Like, people bringing up, I know Kentucky fans were talking about this time last year. I mean, Pope basically built his team from like April something on, I guess it was. It wasn't now. It was later, right? So you still got plenty of time with the transfers. That's why, like, there are guys we have on rosters right now that 100% will not be on rosters in the SEC next season. There are still guys who are going to transfer out. So, I don't know. But
when did Florida get Elijah Martin last year?
Not sure, but the example I always use is Cam Spencer to UConn. UConn doesn't go back to back without Cam Spencer. He committed to UConn on June 6th of that summer. June 6th, and he was pretty much the best player in the nation. When you look at his efficiency numbers.
April 21 for Elijah Martin. So, like 2 weeks from now.
So that tells you how premature all this is.
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, Kentucky, when did they get, let's see, because they were the example, because we were like, it's someone who had to build an entirely different team. April 26th. So,
jeez,
I mean, man, we still got a ways to go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many, because what's the number of people in the portal now?
It's got to be close to 2,000, right?
And how many have landed somewhere?
Great question. I don't know.
And how many of those aren't going to land anywhere? That's the other question.
Did we want to get to just some general review?
We will do that quickly. $20 super chat.
Hey.
From Timmy Pizzas. Thanks for all that we do. Appreciate the content during the amazing season. Yeah, we appreciate all you guys, of course. Florida fans, we certainly appreciate you guys jumping in for a special season. We would like to think when you put together your highlight tapes from this memorable season, you have voiceovers from Chris Lee and Max Barr, comments throughout the season. So, in your highlight tapes. But, all right. Some general thoughts. As we said, we're kind of making this, and just if you're jumping in late, we are going to have transfer videos coming today. I know Kentucky fans want to talk Jaden Quaintance, Mo D. We said we got others, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri. We got all kinds of ones we're going to catch up on this week. So the season review is kind of how we titled this. So this is, I mean, we've kind of been talking about it. But, I mean, what else do you say? Like we said, this was a season where pretty much everything that could go right for the SEC went right. And even if we weren't talking about the SEC, it's any conference you would have put in this category. Like, I don't think you're going to see another season like this. I mean, really think about it, right? Like 14 of the 16 teams get into the tournament. Think about the non-conference record. What was it? 185 and 23 non-conference.
Yep.
And it's just like, I don't know how you're going to replicate that, because the SEC had a clear commitment, understanding, hey, we're going to put the resources into this, and it all just kind of came into a year now where everything just went right to be able to have this kind of run. And like we said, I think it's fitting to finish it with a national championship because it was the best league all season. It was clear from the very start this was going to be a unique year for the SEC. And, I mean, yeah, like now we're sitting here saying, oh, well, obviously probably not going to get 14 in next year, but still, my goodness, incredible.
My favorite stat from this year may still be that South Carolina went 2-16 in the SEC and 3-0 in the ACC.
That was really when it started to become apparent, like, whoa, we might have something special here on our hands with this league. That ACC challenge, when the SEC just won like every game, it was like a 9-0, 8-0 start or something like that, and it was like, oh my gosh.
You know, the thing that amazed me too was like, usually, I don't care how great the league is, you take some embarrassing losses somewhere. Like, South Carolina took one to North Florida on opening night, and that was darn near it.
That was it. I mean,
I think it really was it. Yeah.
Every team went into SEC play with 10-plus wins. Like I said, I didn't even have to do the research. I guarantee you that's not happened before. For a conference this big, it's never happened. Yeah. And so we knew that. And, I mean, that's where, like, South Carolina, and look, it's not to harp on South Carolina because they're doing some work in the transfer portal, as we said. Eagle staff's coming in. Michi Johnson's back. All kinds of fun stuff to talk about with the Gamecocks. But they finished 2-16 in the league and finished in the top 70 in KenPom. Like, what in the world? I mean, it's just like, that just kind of shows you that it was that kind of year. And that's, like I said, everything went right. The bubble teams winning down the stretch. You got every win you really needed to get those 14 teams in. And so, I mean, it's just, I don't care how much money these other conferences are putting in. It's going to be hard to replicate something like this with this many teams, the number of teams. And I think, like I said, it would have been different maybe if you don't finish it off with a national championship, but doing it now, there's no debate. Like, it's just, you were the best conference all season, you won the national title, and it sort of ended the way it should have ended with that.
One more thing on that note, and I've got a question. LSU, next worst team in the league. Worst loss this year at KenPom, number 63 Pitt. Back when Pitt was like,
yeah,
I think that was the time like we're in the brackets. Pitt was not only in the tournament, but like I think maybe even a 5 or 6 seed. Like they went through a spell where they were top 20 in KenPom around that time, and stuff changed. But I've got a question because I know Blake, you got out here in a minute.
Yeah, about 5 minutes or so.
Anything, if you guys had to repick like your all SEC teams and we did 3 of them, awards, stuff like that, would you change anything now that we've got a whole season behind us and you've got the biggest of the big games, the NCAA tournament, haven't been played? Would you change any of your awards or your all SEC picks?
Put a few more Florida players on there.
Yep.
Tommy H would have secured a higher spot. Will Richard. That probably would have been it. Went all in on the Gators probably. But
yeah, Richard's the guy that I think I even mentioned that when we did our awards. Like maybe we should have put him on one of our 3 teams, and I think now absolutely he's earned it. Would you? And my answer for clarity, I think, would be no. But would you take Walter Clayton over Broome as your player of the year in the league?
I mean, if you're doing it now, maybe.
Now I would probably say yeah.
It's hard not.
Now I would probably say yeah. One of them
won
the
national championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't think
at the time
I would.
though.
Yeah,
I probably would not have. Just I mean, again, like we said, that's not a knock on either player. It's just at the time we didn't have this. I mean, we saw it, but we didn't have this run when the tournaments and the championships and all that. We didn't have that yet. So, yeah.
Walter Clayton finished, pretty sure he finished 3rd on the KenPom Player of the Year rankings.
Significantly behind Broome, by the way. There was a big difference between Broome and Clayton between 2 and 3. in their
Yeah,
formula.
but for a while, Clayton, like, there was a long stretch. Clayton wasn't even in the top 10. And he finishes third. It shows how good he was the last few months of the season.
Shout out to Joshua here. Now the member. It just means more to your also the $10 super chat. I knew where this was headed with Joshua. Congratulations to the Gators and the other SEC team to win it. I'm glad it's Florida, but you'll be seeing the Hogs cut down the nets next year in Indianapolis. Joshua, calling a shot for the Razorbacks. Like the confidence. For sure.
Some front court additions maybe on the way.
Yep. Also, Rob asked earlier, do football? Yes, we do. Not all of us do football. You'll be seeing more of Chris on football than Max or I. But it's because Max and I got to track 1,000 transfers. We don't got time for anything else. But yes, you can check that out. Ryan wants some Southeastern 16 apparel to wear after the Gators won. We'll work on that with my free time. My strategy.
You have.
I will work on some merch for us. I tried to do it last offseason. We didn't get there. But
yeah.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this over to Max for a second, and then we're going to hop off because we got transfer videos to do, so we're going to keep this one a little short. But yes, exactly. Just call it, Scott. Yes, we realize we're now 2 behind on Kentucky. So we got to get to that, but I'm going to send it to Max here for a second, and then we will hop off.
Yeah, a little bit of a change of pace here. I want to plug something real quick. Going to pull it up. Pretty much my main role model was my high school, my lineman coach, and his son Kelly, with Down syndrome, passed away last weekend. And it's the services are next weekend. And now if you go to my pinned tweet, I pinned this tweet for him. In the replies, there's a link, and you can send flowers or you can plant a tree for Kelly. And there's no donations or anything like that, but I would really like if they were like just surprised or overwhelmed by like the amount of flowers or stuff that was sent in. I'm gonna start crying. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I put this in the chat. I put the link to Max's tweet in the chat, so I think you can click on that. It doesn't show us whether it's clickable, but I assume it is. But obviously, you guys can copy and paste if you want to. So check that out. Yeah, and you can read all the details on that there, and yeah, give Max's post a read as well. So, yeah, there you go, guys. All right, it is clickable. So just click on it then. That's all you need. So,
yeah,
all right.
Prayers there for that one, Max. And
thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Max, you and me for a minute,
or
are we all signing off here?
I think it's up to you, but I think we're gonna hop off, and then that way we can go record a couple transfer videos right after I finish this media stuff, and then I think we do that. And again, I mean, you know what to expect. We're gonna. Oh boy, are people wanting poems before we hop off?
Skyler's want me to write a poem about AOL.
I
don't think the internet could stand that this morning.
I don't think that's a great idea. But anyways, all right. So again, subscribe, like, notifications, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Man, now I'm getting emotional. Yeah. The world is a cruel and bad place a lot of the time. I mean, there are days I think all of us here just have had enough at times. I mean, but one cool thing about this year, I mean, you will occasionally get a bad apple for what the internet is and what social media is. Man, we are blessed with a great bunch of followers, subscribers. I mean, we would occasionally have bickering in the chat or people taking issues with us saying this or saying that. But in this age where just like everywhere you turn, somebody's yelling at you or putting you down, somewhere in social media land, I was just amazed how nice our audience was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's something that you get every day. And maybe, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's a thing where when you get a lot of nice people in the chat, the peer pressure is there to not be the jerk. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe some of you guys do, but it was noticeable. And I'll just say this. We put in a lot of time to the point of exhaustion at times this year. I don't know that I've had 5 off days since the first week of August, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever. Like what you get here, there's a lot of time and research that goes into watching games, reading news, watching press conferences, whatever goes into what we produce. There were a lot of days, I think I speak for all of us, when I say that the kindness of many of you got us through days where we just weren't feeling it. We're like, I don't know how in the world I'm going to do this today because I'm running on fumes. And I think then you get on sometimes and you leave with a burst of energy after an hour that you didn't have coming in. And that's you guys. And that's by the grace of God, he gave us a really, really good and decent audience. And that is, as much as anything, I think that is what has kept us going.
Yeah. Well said.
Flying Blind, one of the originals is here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Flying Blind was one of the originals, and that's like, it's good to have him in here. So, yeah, no, we appreciate you guys. As we said, we've got some ideas for maybe expanding some things college basketball related. So if you like college basketball, maybe not even just SEC basketball, turn on your notifications. You never know.
Yeah.
What else we may be up to.
We're so busy doing stuff, it's hard to play. I know, people ask about merchandise. Like sometimes we're so busy doing what's in front of us, we haven't had a lot of time to think ahead. We've had a ton of ideas that never launched just because of that. So more of you are here. We're looking for sponsors too to help us monetize. We all get paid to do this. The less time we have to spend out trying to sell stuff, the more we can put into content. So if you're out there and you're interested, we'll give you a very transparent look at what we get and where we get it and how we can make that benefit you. People ask about football. We do football too. I haven't been doing as much of it because I've been doing this, and then baseball is my real first passion. So I'll now jump both feet into baseball until the last pitch of Omaha and the draft and all that. So if you like baseball or kind of like baseball, give us a shot there.
Eli,
thanks for hopping in, Eli. Yeah.
$5 super chat. Hopping in, Mississippi State fan. We'll be talking about the Bulldogs here soon enough. So, yeah,
appreciate you, Eli.
Chris said. We appreciate you guys. And again, we don't go anywhere. We got some.
Yeah, we're not going
things
anywhere.
In the works. Basketball,
it may not
just baseball and football. We got some things going on. So we appreciate you guys.
It may not be every day what you've gotten since November the whatever. It won't look like that, but we're not going to be. Now I may not be on as much basketball stuff because I've got to turn my attention to other stuff, but these two guys are definitely not going away. And I'll probably be on some stuff too with hoops. So don't think we're just going to be strangers until we tip it up again.
Hey Ryan, are you on Twitter? Let us know if you're on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, again, you can find one of our tweets, reach out to one of us if you want to sponsor.
Yeah.
But if not, we can. We're processing the emails here of getting from 14 to 16. So you guys make sure we get Ryan connected. I got to jump on this radio thing in Knoxville. So you guys take care of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
My handle is Chris Lee 70 on Twitter, I think. So Ryan, you can reach out to me there. Send me a PM and I'll get to it.
Holly says I got to have at least one weekly live basketball. You're probably going to get more than one. Probably more like 2 or 3. And we're going to get, hey, guys, we're going to get creative with the content. we're gonna do what we got to do. We're gonna give you the content. We got baseball going full blast, transfer portal going full blast, and then, man, some of the best days are the dog days of the summer when there is nothing to do, nothing to talk about, and that's when you have some of the best conversations and some of the best laughs. So we'll be here. Hope you're with us too.
Best conversation I've had since I'm doing this. I still remember it. I was out for a jog one day. Remember this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said you were looking for a place to do basketball, and it was our friend Drew King.
Yep.
So you need to look these guys up. And I remember very vividly. I was walking off a jog. I think it was June or July. And I remember I called Blake. I said, man, we got a guy.
Yeah, I don't know how it all came together. Tyler, watching classic games in the off season? Yeah, man, classic games. 2K 8, 12, whatever the video game dynasty seasons. Free throw contests, fun, actual. Trying to get a little bit more content out there for you guys. So yeah, I mean, hey, and also this is your idea. Whatever you guys want to do, want to see, we'll let us know. Reach out. We'll do it. I mean, whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
All right.
For all the exhaustion, this has been a lot of fun.
You wouldn't want to have it any other way.
Yeah. Max even busted out the pot roast last night.
I did. I had a nice pot roast about 1 a.m. last night. It's great. I also had it for breakfast this morning. I'm going to have it for lunch. Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. All right. We're hitting a stopping point, I feel.
Oh, it looks like
wow.
Blake is behind the controls here, handing out memberships.
Yeah.
Who's got one? Stu's got one. Josh got one. How you doing, Scott? How you doing? Has got one. Everyone's a member. You're a member. There we go.
How about that?
Well,
in all seriousness, I am going to spend a lot of my next couple of months in on baseball. If you love baseball, I think you'll like what we do. If you kind of like baseball, give it a chance. We'll educate you on it. I'm as passionate about baseball as these guys are about hoops. So, how does Holly not have a membership?
Someone always gets missed.
I know.
All right, are we out of here?
Yeah, I think we're out of here. Again, thank you to our audience this year. Again, we won't be strangers. It'll look different. We're working on it, but hope you guys will be here. You guys, we're still going to do some live stuff off season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
So, yeah, subscribe, enable your notifications, all those things. Yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your support.
Yep.
Your super chats, your nice words. They all mean a lot. For Blake Lovell, Max Barr, I'm Chris Lee, host here at Southeastern 16. God bless you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.